Marys and Janes, Beavers and Bongs, you are now tuned into the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Jen Diz.
And that's Mike TV.
Today we celebrate 420 by getting into the weeds of Disney Park's storied history with puffing in the park. Plus we make a pit stop at Buc-ee's gas station to find out why it's so popular.
Happy 420.
Happy 420. So this episode comes out on the 17th, just in time for you to start celebrating 420, which is kind of like a California holiday for sure. And it's been for a long time. And we are California natives, so there we go.
Yeah, it's fitting nonetheless, and it's just kind of a funny thing. So let's celebrate it. It's an excuse to celebrate. Why not?
Let's celebrate. It's a good day to be happy and have a good time, be chill. But we have a lot to talk about in this episode. I want to talk about Buc-ee's, the gas station, and then we'll talk about some 420 Disney things. But before we get to that, I just have a couple of miscellaneous things that are on my mind over the last few days. So Pride Night is coming back this year at Disneyland. And I can't even believe it's already been a year since you went and we did an episode about the recap. And I want to go. Last year I said I was going to go this year. And it's just like so soon. And it's Disneyland, not Disney World. I don't have a pass. All the same things that went through my head for D23. So
right.
I'm like, But what are your thoughts? Are you planning on maybe going this year?
So some of you may know that I am currently unemployed. So I promised myself I would be really good about not spending money. And so I'm probably not going to go.
That's true. You have Magic Key and this does cost an extra. It's a special.
Yeah. However, it's by far the best night, in my opinion, of all the After Dark nights. So if I had a job, I would gladly spend that money, but I'm also probably not buying Oogie Boogie Bash tickets. Can somebody get me a job out there, please? HR, holler.
There you go. Anyone who's hiring HR jobs.
I need to go to these After Dark nights. Let's go.
Leave us a voice message on the disneyholics.com.
But yeah, it all depends on that. But then, those tickets sell out. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
And I think there's maybe 2 nights this year. I don't know if they only had 1 last year.
They definitely had at least 2 last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know if we end up going, because maybe that'll change your mind a bit. But speaking of other things that I keep going back and forth.
Wait, who is we?
We?
Jerry?
Oh no, just me.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm talking like Gollum. I don't know.
I got so excited. I was like, Jerry's going to Pride Night? Hell yeah.
Okay. No, but that's a perfect segue. So I have a D23 announcement for everybody.
Okay.
Because I'm the main character and everything's about me. No, I'm just kidding. I am going to D23 Brazil.
Oh, cool.
Officially, it's in the fall. So now I feel good about missing
I want to go
the
to
US
that
one.
so bad. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. And I definitely wouldn't do both. So I'm like, okay, this all makes sense. Everything's going in as it's supposed to be. They announced tickets are going to be on sale soon. It's going to be in Sao Paulo, and which is more of the city and less of like the beachy part that I think of, like Rio de Janeiro. Jerry is so excited. He's coming with me. He's going to do it. And I need help too, because they're going to be...
Wait, is he attending D23?
He's attending D23.
Stop it.
Yes.
That's even crazier than going to Pride Night.
It's crazy.
What?
It's so crazy. I don't know what to expect. It is billing itself as it's for like the Latin Americas. So because it's in Brazil, my initial thought was, oh, it's going to be all in Portuguese. But I'm actually thinking it's probably going to be a mix of Spanish and Portuguese, since everyone from Central and South America are going to go there for their D23 fix, their Disney fix. So I think it'll be fun. I'm going to try to just go with the flow and make it like lean into the being a foreigner and not try to like get too crazy about the Disney stuff because I think by then too, I'll have heard most of the announcements from the Anaheim thing. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it's different too. We'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should be some different
Yeah.
content at least. Yeah.
Who
Like I'm feeling like
knows?
it's another Destination D,
Oh
but it's
yeah.
only, you say it's in December?
It's in the fall. I want to
Oh,
say
fall.
October. Yeah.
So not long after D23. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not long
Maybe it
after.
isn't too different then.
And I think, yeah, if you were able to, if you had access to both and you spoke all the languages in the world, you'd probably only pick one to go to of the
Right.
two. And this is the
Okay.
first time they're doing it. I know they had one in Japan one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, so there I feel better. I
Dang.
am doing something D23 related with you, just not at the same exact time.
Super cool. Yeah. I'd love to hear how that goes. That's crazy. That's
Right?
gonna be unique too.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Not,
I'm really
not a
excited.
lot. That would be good.
And I just love
Nice.
seeing, there's two things I love seeing when I travel is McDonald's in foreign countries and Disney in foreign countries.
You sound
Like,
so American right now.
and they're always like random weird things that you're like, oh.
It
So
is fun. I also like to look at the menus in fast food restaurants I'm familiar with in other countries. It's just fascinating. I bet Costco, you were just talking about how you went to Costco today in Mexico, but that was
yeah. Oh, here in
different stuff there
Mexico,
too.
it's Disney, Star Wars, Marvel everywhere I turn. Some light, some unofficial, and some mostly unlicensed. And it's just like everywhere. But the official stuff, like in the grocery store, I know we have a lot in the US, but here it's like everything is branded. Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, strawberry milk, like just everything's everywhere. And I always have to look at it and then put it back down. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of looking at everything and having to put it down, on my road trip to Mexico, we drove through the state of Texas. And our good friend of the show and friend in IRL, Claudia, shout out to Claudia. Whoop, whoop.
What up, Claudia?
She said, you gotta go to Buc-ee's. And I only, it was all via text. So I was like, what's Bussies?
Oh my
I really
God.
didn't know what, I didn't put the two together. I was like,
Duh.
Bussies. And there's like Buc-ee's. And then I put it all together. I'm like, oh, the freaking beaver that everyone talks about. And
That's
so I was
even
like,
funnier that you said that, and it happens to be a beaver. A
beaver.
little too related.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. This is truly an adult Disney holic episode this
Yeah,
week.
seriously.
So I was like, okay, we got to find it. So we found one on our route, massive, like just a massive one. And we stopped and went inside, and my mind was just blown. I thought, okay, I get it. I get why people rave about it. I don't know how else you can explain it without just going to it when you need it, because it's also something you need when you're on a road trip. It's you go there instead of a regular gas station or instead of a what is it, AM/PM or something. You go here to get all of that done, and it's like the Disney World of convenience stores.
It's like World
And
of Disney,
it's like World of Disney
World
for
of Buc-ee's.
every little thing that you love from a gas station road trip that you want to pick up. Like it's all there, every type of it, every size, every flavor, and then a whole bunch that's branded with the Buc-ee's logo and the little beaver who's very cute. I can see why people like him. He's very cute. I like Buc-ee the beaver. And then the gas station itself is massive. Like think of the, like some of those Costco ones in the suburbs. Think of that, but times two maybe. It's just like
Okay,
this whole thing
huge.
dedicated. So you don't even have to really wait for your spot. And then
Nice.
inside the Buc-ee's itself, I saw a sign over the restrooms, and the restrooms were like in a whole other wing. The restrooms were like entering Tomorrowland, like it was outside of the hub of this giant store, and you go. I was like, what? And it said world famous restrooms. Why?
World famous
Yeah.
restrooms.
So I go
Okay.
in, and it's just hundreds of stalls. It's as clean as I've ever seen a public restroom. Like it's sparkling. And
Nice.
every stall is floor to ceiling doors. We
Thank you.
love that, right? We
What about
love
the
that.
sides?
No sides. It's like full on walls in between each one. Yeah. and
Amazing.
everybody's just like walking out like smiling. So and these Buc-ee's are conveniently located like along major road trip routes and highway routes. It's not like in the city center or anything. It's like
It's like Love's
where it needs to
on the
be,
five,
totally like Love's. And
but
so
on
everyone
crack.
just walking out with the biggest smile out of the bathroom because they were probably holding that in for so long. And then they found a clean one. They didn't have to wait. Like
They're
it
double
really is
relieved.
double relieved. And then you walk back out into this glorious shop. So they have people. It was really reminding me of Disneyland. You know how they have those open concept kitchens at Disneyland and Epcot and on Main
Hmm.
Street? It's like that. So I'm just like mesmerized watching these people roast the nuts right there and then you buy them in the bag. I was watching people slice the roast beef, cook the barbecue and put it into the sandwiches, and they do it so fast, and then they foil it up and they put it on the line so you can grab it. And it goes so fast. People grab it so fast that they're constantly making it. Like you want a beef and cheddar, you got to get it right away or wait for the fresh one. And the fresh one is just as long as it's been sitting out there. So it's I was just so
Now, is
impressed
this an Arby's inside of a Buc-ee's?
because the beef and cheddar. They had like roast beef and cheddar. They had regular roast beef. They had like those barbecue tips. They had some. They had a bacon turkey club on a soft brioche. I got like three
Soft.
different sandwiches, soft brioche. I got three different ones. I got so many nuts. They have a whole jerky wall of every type of jerky that you could want. I think they're all beef though, but every flavor, I should say. And then in addition to the pre-packed jerky, Buc-ee's jerky, they have a whole like delicatessen counter with the jerky like out there. You could buy chicken breasts in a styrofoam next to the deli or ask them
Yeah.
to give it.
Yeah.
It's like that. So you can get like in bulk or mix them up. And then in that area, they're also creating even more stuff. There's just like more different types of, there's like wraps going on back there that they're making fresh. Oh, and then the part that really became Disneyland for me, I walked around the corner to the side of the hub that had all the sweets. So there was chocolates and candies, and then there was a whole fudge glass counter. They're making fresh fudge. It reminded me
Uh,
exactly of
they don't
Disneyland
even
walking in
have that
Main
at
Street.
Disneyland
Whoops,
anymore.
whoops. It reminded me just like that. And they had a little cap on everything. And they had so many flavors. Like I was just like, what? And I didn't want any. Like I wasn't like craving that at that moment.
Right.
And then my mom came up and her eyes were bulging out, and we ended up getting like a whole sampler of all these different kinds, like pistachio and banana and chocolate and vanilla.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And then on top of all that, they have merch, just like tons of merch, stuff
Which
that's
I see a
really
ton of
useful,
at Disneyland parks,
right? You see it
by the
with
way.
the Buc-ee's brand and the Beaver himself,
Hmm.
Buc-ee. And they're all useful. Like there's the shirts and stuff like that, but there was like a throw blanket, which I actually needed right then and there. We still had like 2 more days on this road trip to go, and we needed something for the car and for the dogs. They have these genius, very American to me, like these plastic, they're like food trays that fit perfectly to your lap, like they're contoured to your lap, and then the top is flat and there's a cup holder. So when you pass around the fast food from the drive-through on your road trip, everyone has their own little station on your lap.
Oh man.
Genius,
Is it
genius.
adjustable?
Not really. And I think like my knees had to be really close together for it to feel. I want to say I might have bought a kids one by accident.
Oh.
Or maybe it's actually meant for kids. I don't know. But yeah, they have all kinds of things like that you could imagine. I had a shopping cart walking around this convenience store, this shopping cart, and I had to put some stuff back. But I was really happy with all my purchases. They had like a hot cold bag that was perfect because we got hot sandwiches. And so we could bring them the thing. And I've been now using that almost every day at the grocery stores here as my tote bag, which is perfect. But yeah, wow, I was overwhelmed, overstimulated, very impressed, and happy that Claudia convinced me to stop there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Wait, so what did you get? We heard that you have a throw blanket, a
Throw
hot
blanket.
cold bag, and a
Mhm.
child-sized tray for your knees.
Yep.
And then what else did you buy?
And then tons of snacks. Some we're still snacking on. Like we got a bunch of the roast nuts, like every type they had. And funny enough, before this recording, Jerry was like, I'm still eating those Buc-ee's nuts. They're really good. And I was like, oh my God, we're about to do an episode where we're talking about Buc-ee's. That's perfect. So Laura said
Cute.
nuts, all kinds of different like chocolates they have, like they're like nugget chocolate thingies. They're kind of like, those little Ghirardelli things. They're like
Mhm.
small like that. And then there is something else that's called nuggets. I think they look like corn pops that I was told to try, and I forgot to get them. I thought I did. I thought those chocolate things were the nuggets. And then during my research for this episode, we'll go into the history of Buc-ee's and the Disney influences. I learned
All
even so
right.
much more, and I'm like ready to go back. And it's mostly in Texas. That's where it started. And there's some sprinkled, they're starting to go in different parts of the country, but it's very Texas, like big, like over the top.
Bigger.
Everyone's so
Everything's bigger in
nice.
Texas.
Everything's
Isn't that the same?
bigger. Every I was gonna say cast member, every associate. What do you call them when they're not cast member? Every
Team
person who worked
members.
there, team member, they were all so nice, happy, smiling. There was many of them everywhere helping you out.
Nice.
And then there was also a general retail section with just stuff. You think Cracker Barrel store,
Okay.
like just kind of those random gift things. So I was like, wow, you could be going somewhere and you forgot your gift. You could stop there and get like everything you could think of.
So this is giving me Bravo Farms vibes. Did you ever see Bravo
Ooh,
Farms on the
no,
5? Because I know
no.
you flew most of the time, but it's like halfway to SoCal from the Bay Area. There's a place called Bravo Farms, and it's like really long, and like you go through each section, it's something new. There's a restaurant with heck of good food. Then there's an ice cream parlor, it's super cute. And then there's
Mm,
like the fudge and sweets area, and then there's the nuts area, and then there's the jams, all the stuff that you find at all
that's
these places.
cute.
And then upstairs the whole top is an antique store. But the cutest thing about it is that it's all themed to look like a Western, like ghost town kind of look. Like they even have a whole play area outside with
Oh,
all these facades. Super cute. I love those good road trip stops. So, what kind of vibe did Buc-ee's have inside of it? Like, if you were to compare it to something that we might be familiar with, what would you say?
it reminded me of National Lampoon's Vacation.
Okay.
It was just like it's just overstimulating. I don't know what else I would compare
Was
it
it
to.
super busy in there?
Yes, but not at all. And you know me, I get bothered by that. Not enough to bother me because it was so big and
Okay.
so spacious, but it was busy. Yeah. Um, I really don't know what else to compare it to. Gosh, I'm so
Well,
excited.
that
I
we'll
want
leave
you to
that
go
one
to it.
TBD.
Yeah, I want to go with you on your first time. I have to.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we'll see if I have a reason to go to Texas.
let's go to Texas. I'm ready for another
Go
trip.
visit Claudia and play some
There we
escape
go.
rooms. I mean,
Austin. Okay, so let's get into the history. This was fun doing some research because I thought whoever came up with this Buc-ee's idea, my question was, were they Disneyholics and or did they at least get some influence by Disney? Because it gave me Disney vibes. And I don't know what specifically to say to compare it to, but it definitely did. I think when you said it and it was perfect. Walking into World of Disney, like
okay.
expecting just a regular Disney store in the mall, and if someone walked you into World of Disney instead,
Got
you'd
it.
be like,
Okay.
oh, what?
Like you're expecting like a Circle K,
Yep,
but it's like this exploded version.
exactly that. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right, so let's travel back in time. Our story begins in 1982, Lake Jackson, Texas, where a man named Arch Beaver Applin III,
Stop it.
his nickname was Beaver, in quotes.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know how he got that name, where Arch gets from that, but his first name is Arch, and his buddy Don Wasek. They founded the very first Buc-ee's, and their vision was to create something far beyond the average gas station. They wanted to create a haven, an oasis for travelers, offering not just fuel, but a vast array of products, impeccably clean restrooms, and a level of service that would make Walt Disney himself proud.
Ooh,
So,
is that a quote? Can we
yep,
get that,
they
please?
they were already thinking of service first, cleanliness, all that stuff,
Wait,
which
remind me what year? Did it?
1982.
82. Okay.
1982, they founded this. And so, just as like the Disney parks we know are designed to create unforgettable experiences, Buc-ee's and their creative team applies a very similar philosophy with values focusing on cleanliness, quality, and customer satisfaction. And I also found out the founders drew their inspiration directly from the Disney company's attention to detail and commitment to creating a welcoming environment for all.
Wow. Okay.
So, so central to Buc-ee's charm is the beaver mascot, whose name
Yes.
is Buc-ee. He's adorable. They had stuffed animals, they had shirts, everything. I found some songs. I don't know if they're official or if they're fan made. Very cute. He's a cheerful character, is how they describe him, and he is supposed to embody the brand's friendly and welcoming spirit. So much like how Disney characters capture our imaginations, Buc-ee's the Beaver has become a symbol of joy and a beacon for travelers seeking a break from that mundane highway journey.
Love it. Okay.
It is cool. Like just like that ghost town one you mentioned, I remember as a kid there were certain things on road trips that I was excited to stop at. Do you remember
Right.
Pea Soup Anderson's?
Yes.
I like knowing we wouldn't always stop, but I liked going by the windmill on the way
Hmm.
to Disneyland because I knew it meant in my mind as a kid we're on the way to Southern California,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, okay, we're a little bit on the way, and I don't know, just like those things. So I can imagine growing up in or around Texas and getting to stop at Buc-ee's is probably so fun and exciting. Um, so there is a
Awesome.
fandom, and we have to talk about the fandom because it's the Disney Holic show, and there are other
Yes.
types of fandoms out there.
We
So
love
just like
fans.
we love fans of Disney and fans of Buc-ee. So just like us Disney Holics, we like to put on our Mickey ears, our what are those bags called?
Loungefly.
Loungefly bags with the Disney stuff on it. Buc-ee's fans love to flaunt their Beaver branded apparel and accessories. And you had just mentioned this. We have both seen this at Disney parks and for a while didn't know what the heck it was. And
Yeah. I was like, what is this?
right?
Like, is this a gas station? What?
And it was like cartoony and cute Beaver, but we knew it wasn't Disney. I'm now remembering I probably associated with it National Lampoon's Vacation way back then because it does remind me of the Wally World character
Mm,
from the Vacation movie. National Lampoon's, how funny.
that's cute.
So yeah, the fans love it. They buy the merchandise, they wear the outfits, and you can definitely see them over at Disney, which is really cool because that means there's a crossover of Disney fans and Buc-ee's fans. There's some sort of overlap there. And the way that the Buc-ee's website and like their branding team, the way they describe their fandom is they say that the fandom is built on shared experiences, whether it's marveling at the vast selection of snacks, celebrating the spotless restrooms. Apparently, they won an award for like the best public bathroom in the world, or finding that perfect Buc-ee's souvenir to take home. And they're also seasonal. Like the throw blanket I got was for spring Easter. So I'm like, ooh, I wonder
Oh,
what they have for Halloween. Like I already want to go back for Halloween. And then they say the marketing team was talking about how social media really helped it blow up because there's a lot of tales of people's first Buc-ee visits. I'm literally doing it right now. Like I had to tell somebody that would really get why it's exciting and the fandom around it. So people do that on social media, on TikTok, they show their first visit or they'll take someone there for the first time. And so there's just this community and fandom around it that loves it more than just a convenience and gas station, but just for all of the other things.
right,
That's
right.
very cool. So I want to ask you, a fellow Disney holic, what else besides what we described do you think draws Disney fans to this? Why are we very quickly enamored by this brand,
By Buc-ee's
by
specifically,
Buc-ee's? Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we talked about a lot. So there's the character, right? The mascot.
We
Always
love a
good to
good
have a
character.
cute,
Yeah.
friendly mascot. Um, the customer service, right?
Yeah.
Huge. Cleanliness.
Yeah. Reliable.
Um, accessibility and like items for sale. Like there's a ton of stuff. Um, what else? I guess just yeah, the only thing I can think of is experience, but that kind of is all of that put together.
All the way put together.
Um,
And if that company didn't care about that stuff, it wouldn't be noticeable,
right.
right? Like,
No.
yeah, like Chevron, they just in and out.
Yeah, yeah.
Or whatever, AM, PM, 7-Eleven. Wow, I'm just really impressed. So there's my Buc-ee's story for y'all.
Nice. I was just looking to see if they had one in Orlando or somewhere near Disneyland, and they do not.
I do not.
However, Florida, they have one in Daytona Beach and St. Augustine. I don't know where those are though. I don't know, they could be
Ooh.
close, but I was just curious to see if like people are all excited about Buc-ee's because they stopped there before they got to Disney World, you know? Could be
Oh,
their
that would be
little road trip
cool.
stop. Yep.
It could be. Yeah, that one might be. And on the like YouTube videos I was watching, they are definitely trying to expand out of Texas. But it seems like they have to get it right. It has to be in the right spot, or else it's such an expensive investment to fail to build out this
Right. Yeah.
massive, it's like a land, a resort.
Is it like the size of like a Walmart or something? Like Walmarts are huge.
Not that big, but it somehow feels like the size of a Walmart, but still being in a gas station convenience store.
Right.
Somehow they figured that out.
Hmm.
Because I remember before I walked in, I kept saying to myself, because nobody in the road trip with me cared about this stuff. I was thinking to myself, what do people care? This is probably just like walking into a Target or something. They have everything. I get it. And there's a gas station next to it. But it's not. I don't know how. It's like it's still a convenience store
It hits all the
somehow.
endorphins. They start popping off as soon as you walk in the door.
It was
Do they
great.
have like music playing? I wonder if they like step up some kind of level
Oh,
that you don't even notice is going on
it could
versus a
be.
regular gas station or something.
There could be smells that were being pumped out that I didn't even know about because
Smellitzers.
it smelled really good. Like the roasted nuts, the fudge, the barbecue, all of that.
Yum. Oh yeah,
Mm.
those smells alone. Those are all good
Yeah,
smells.
my
Gas
mouth
stations
is
be
watering.
stepping it up though. We have
Yeah.
here in the Bay Area, we have crispy crunchy chicken. If anyone in the Bay Area is listening, I can confirm crispy crunchy chicken is the bomb. Is hecka good. And it's only sold at Valero gas stations, which aren't even the nice ones. Those are like the cheap gas stations. And they're like strictly there, I think. I think there might be a couple locations outside of it, but almost completely at Valero's. So like, and they got voted best fried chicken in the Bay Area numerous times. So like,
Wow.
these gas stations are starting to come quick with some good stuff.
You know what else is another good one? QT in like Arizona
QT is
and some
great.
other
They always
places.
have the weird candies,
The
like all
weird
the different
candies.
weird flavors. I love QTs.
And they
And they
have
have the
good
good
ice.
ice.
Yep. They have the good ice. And I would say maybe it's a little similar to that because QTs, when I first discovered them in Arizona, I thought they were massive and clean and well stocked. I would say Buc-ee's is like the set, amplified version of a QT, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and they had really good fountain soda at Buc-ee's and QT, but at Buc-ee's, I
Always
was
good.
very happy about that Diet Coke for the
Nice.
next couple of hours on that road trip.
The Sprite that stings.
Yeah, I get that crispiness, crispy soda. All right. So earlier when we first started the episode, we were laughing a little bit about 420, which is coming up. And there is actually a lot of, uh, I guess, content, chatter, articles. When I typed in Disney and weed, I was like, okay, what happens when I get those two things together? And there was a lot. Some of that we actually already talked about on this podcast years ago. The first one was Robert Downey Jr. And I think
Oh
we were,
yeah.
right? I want to say we were there at the Legend ceremony when he talked about it. And he was talking about when he was accepting his award, how he was kicked out and allegedly banned from Disneyland for smoking weed in the sky buckets,
Yeah.
which is so many cool things all at once. We got RDJ slash Iron Man. We have old school Disneyland that still had the sky buckets going around and through the Matterhorn. And then he's smoking weed. That's just like classic.
Hilarious. Love
Uh,
it.
and then he was later called a legend. So there you go. um, and then there's a couple of things I found. There's this uh, really interesting article about I'm going to skip around here, about stoner dads at Disneyland. I found this whole blog
Stoner
post.
dad
Stoner
specific.
dads, very
Okay.
specific. And the author of this article definitely used a pseudonym because they said their name was Herb Green. And I'm looking at that now and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not
Yeah.
buying
Oh, hey, you got me.
but it talks about all the things to do and not to do. What's really nice about this funny article, it's also trying to encourage people to follow Disney park policies. So we're not just out here encouraging people to be Robert Downey Jr. I think it's also important that you follow policy. So like one of the number one things is like, don't do it in the park. If you're a stoner dad, do it in the hotel room before you get to the park. Find that spot before, do it at night, do it on your your nap break while the kids are asleep or whatever. And then you'll just have a chill time and you won't even care about all the craziness around you. You'll just have a good time. And I bet you your kids will have a better time and your significant other would have a better time. So I
You could
love
bring
that.
edibles instead.
Bring edibles. Yes, this person
Gummies.
says, bring the chocolates, bring the gummies. This article even goes as far to say like how many grams you should consume.
Oh, wow.
And but it says again in all bold, do not bring it into the park. Get baked in your hotel ahead of time and then afterwards. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it says if you can't handle a 10 to 12 hour weed break, then you do your midday nap. So I thought that was really cute. And then some of the things it says you should do, and this is specific to California. It says ride Soren, stoned.
Okay.
I guess that probably makes it a little more entertaining, and I'd probably be less concerned with the bending of the screens because I'd just be
Y'all,
so
is that
into it.
actually bending or is that my imagination?
Right? It's like, yeah, I'm flying. And
Hmm.
then they said, do star tours. It's this
Okay.
person said it's just so much of a good thing all at once, which is really cute to think about that way.
Cute.
And then it says when you want to do some wind down things, it says do brunch at one of the restaurants. And then this one goes as far as saying go to the beach. So I guess if you're visiting California, you don't live there, and you're on a Disneyland trip, they're saying, spend an afternoon with your family at the beach, smoke up over there. Very cute.
That is very cute. I love that there's an article for that specific to stoner dads.
There is. So another article I found was somebody's sort of firsthand, what's the word? Firsthand occurrence, memory, experience
Experience.
of
Yeah.
the alleged Disneyland jail.
Ooh.
And
The
so this
legendary Disneyland jail. What do you
legendary,
have for us there?
like I still feel like it doesn't really exist, but we'll see. So this was on medium.com. They always have some interesting content on there. And this person is saying it's behind the submarine lagoon ride. Now, have you heard of that at all?
No.
Yeah, me neither. So they said they were riding rides. There were a big group of seven of them. And the person who got caught smoking weed was 16. So there's just a lot of bad right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's underage. Even if it is legal, it's underage. You're not supposed to smoke it at 16. And then you're in the parks unsupervised. So they got into big trouble. And it was around noon that they were taken back behind into what they called security land behind the submarine ride. And they're saying it
Oh.
just felt like a boring like corporate office. And you transition straight from that part. Submarine is technically Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, both.
Submarine is Fantasyland, I believe.
And so, yeah, I guess you go from there straight into what might look like probably like fluorescent lights in jail. And
Wait, but where? I'm like trying to picture there's not even like a building or like where would they go?
well, if
Maybe
anyone out
okay,
there,
because on the right side of it is like where you go to get on the monorail. Maybe there's stuff way back there
oh,
that takes you
oh,
into some other space.
Team Disney Anaheim is kind of back there, right? That building with the blue and green and the glass,
I think
where the
so.
like the corporate offices for Disney parks.
They might be wrapped around there, yeah.
Maybe that. Well, the reason why I only know this much of the story is because I don't have a medium.com paid subscription and it says I need to
Oh
create one
no.
to read the full story. So if anyone out there has a Medium account, let us know so we can read this person's full uh full story
Whoops.
of it. All right. So while we're talking about smoking in the parks, whether it's weed or cigarettes, I thought it would be also an interesting time to figure out and learn about the smoking policies at Disney Park in general,
Okay.
because we all know Uncle Walt was a cigarette smoker like
It was.
all the time, to the point where they're like doctoring photos to take the cigarettes out of his hands. It looks like he's doing the peace sign when he's not. You can't
Then maybe
fool
that's how
us.
they came up with the two-finger point.
There you go. Oh yeah, you're pointing with your cigarettes. Oh my gosh, that's actually kind of cute. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I think that's cute. And I do get the, at least when you see old photos, it does look chic and hip, especially if you see like a
Yeah, James
James
Dean.
Dean.
Yeah.
Like if you look
It's
cool
like
or you
sexy even.
sexy,
I'm like, why did I
yeah.
think cigarettes are sexy at some point? But
Like some French person
it
at a
works.
cafe smoking with their legs crossed. Like, it's just cute. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is bad for you. So in 1955, when Disneyland first opened, it was allowed in the parks. They even had a little tobacco shop and they sold ashtrays. They had ashtrays in the Disneyland hotels. Um, cut to today, it's completely not allowed. So if you go on their website and look at the policy, it's completely not allowed. It says, for the comfort of all guests, smoking is not permitted in the theme parks, at the hotels, not at the Esplanade. You're not even the Esplanade. I actually thought you could smoke there. Not the Esplanade, and nowhere in downtown Disney. And so I remember like in back in our days, there were like smoking areas in the park. So those are long
Hmm.
gone. And some of the history goes all the way back to the early 2000s is when Disney parks started to add those designated smoking areas in
Mm.
both Disneyland and Disney World. And I remember one
Wow.
of
So it was
them
just like you could free smoke anywhere around Disneyland up until the early 2000s.
until it says 90s, early 2000s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So probably right
That's
around the
wild.
time we started going as teenagers, it was banned already.
That's also the time when they like took smoking out of restaurants. You remember you had to ask for the
You're
non-smoking section
right. You're right. Oh, and airplanes?
in
Airplane.
hotels?
Hotel. Who thought that just by separating it with a policy, not a physical wall, that you wouldn't smell the cigarettes from the front of the plane, the
Right.
back of the plane, and the
The
restaurants too.
airplanes, I can't even imagine. That's
It's so weird
crazy.
now. And you catch someone vaping on the plane now, they're canceled. They're all over TikTok. They get dragged out of the plane. Wow, we've come a long way. But yeah, so 1990s, early 2000s is when Disney introduced the designated smoking areas. And it sucks because some of these are like cool spots. Do you remember what used to be
I was gonna
the,
say, can you remember them? I can only remember two right now. No, three.
yeah, the one that stands out used to be the motorboats in Fantasyland.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
I forgot
a
about that
dock,
one. Mm-hmm.
long dock with tables, and they also had the gummy bears motorboats there. That's how I rode it the first time, and then never again because it turns out I was young and it was like a limited time Disney
Right.
afternoon thing. And then, do you remember we did the mouse adventure, and that's where everybody got together at one point on that long
Mm-hmm.
dock with the table. So it's a cool little spot. So it does suck for people who don't smoke when they dedicated or designated that for just smoking. Because if you wanted to chill there in the early 2000s, you'd be around all the puffing and cigarette smoke.
Right.
Yeah. Which other ones do you remember?
I remember the first one that stands out to me is the one on the Rivers of America over by Haunted Mansion. It's like on the water, that big section that's now tables and dining space for you to sit and eat.
Oh,
There used to be a little waterfront area and all the smokers would be there. There's also one in Tomorrowland, kind of close to the Matterhorn. It was just off to the side. And there's one that was at the back end of Frontierland, kind of close to where you go into Galaxy's Edge and Frontierland. So
okay.
those are the ones. So that's what, four different ones?
Oh, and
I
that
think that
area
might have been it.
sometimes before Galaxy's Edge, that area was like nice and dark at
Yeah,
night.
it was very dark.
Yeah,
It was like on the backside of Big Thunder Mountain, basically.
I remember that. I
Little
may or may
section.
not have known people who would also go there to smoke weed. There we go. Happy 420. Don't do it in the parks. Don't do it in the parks. You'll get kicked out or you'll go to Disney jail. So the policy change to no smoking at all happened as recently, I guess, as 2019. So May 1st, 2019 is when they implemented the overall no smoking policy, no e-cigarettes, no vaping allowed in the theme parks, water parks, complexes, entrances, downtown Disney District, Disney Springs. And they created very small designated smoking areas far outside of the park entrances and
You have
common
to go to
areas.
this, you have to go to Harbor,
Yeah, all the way out there.
all
Yeah.
the way out to Harbor Boulevard to
And
smoke.
then
It's
back through
crazy.
security too, right?
Yeah, and then you have to go through
Yeah.
bag check again. Woo!
They're like, you
That's when I
need
would
to
start
really
contemplating
want
quitting.
that. Yeah. Like you need to have that cigarette. At Disney World, it says it's a little easier because the resorts are less strict and have more designated smoking areas. And Disney World in general, you're kind of always in your transit between different places. You're not just at
Yeah, it's not as enclosed as Disney
yeah.
Resort.
So if you are a nicotine addict, not judging, you could probably plan it into your day somehow, like where your smoke
Right.
break would be.
I've heard numerous people getting upset about it. Like while I'm at Disneyland, they're like, I don't have to go all the way where? Like you can hear them like,
Oh,
and
you can
they
hear
just
that.
need
Yeah.
a cigarette. They're all stressed out with their family, and then they have to walk a mile to smoke a cigarette, which is just crazy.
It's so crazy.
Oh my gosh.
In my notes here, it does say that the policy change, the 2019 one specifically, was met with a lot of mixed reactions. So
Mhm.
the non-smokers loved it, appreciated the
Right.
cleaner air. They claim it to be more family friendly. I don't know. I feel like the family friendly part is relative to your family because
Yeah.
if you grew up with parents that smoke, that's
Yeah.
normal
If you're
to you.
used to dad smoking a cigarette, then it's not nothing different.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
And so, but the number
I
one
do remember
complaint,
though seeing the one on Rivers of America. It's just like there was no shade. It was everyone in the sun, and there's always like a ton of people all smoking in this one little area, and it looked like that's there for that and nothing else. Like
it
so,
looks
it kind of
off, right?
yeah, it kind of felt weird that there's this area that isn't utilized for anything except for smoking cigarettes. Not that to me is a little. That's the improvement part that I like is that
Yeah, it is
there's
weird. It
not that
reminds me
anymore.
of like I Am Legend, like when everyone's just doing some weird behavior altogether that they probably can't control. It's just weird. It's like it's also gives me Last of Us, like
Yeah.
the fungus things. Uh yeah, so that was strange seeing that now that I think about it. At the airports, they still have it too, and they're like in these glass rooms, and it's like they're
Oof.
just all in
That's
there
crazy too.
with
I
the
can't.
smoke. And then you probably smell
I
like
remember that
it.
at clubs, like nightclubs too. They'd have like a box
Oh
that everybody
yeah.
goes smoke. And I'm like, what?
And it sucks for non-smokers because usually those are the best places to get air in a nightclub and to have conversations because you can't hear inside.
Yeah.
So you're stuck with all the
I would
smokers.
go outside all the time with people to have a cigarette. When I just, wouldn't have a cigarette, I would just go with them to like go have a chat. And like it was like part of the culture, like you take breaks, you get some air, you go outside, and it's usually when somebody's smoking. So it made sense.
Smoke it up.
Their breaks are my breaks. It's
And
your
then
break is me break.
I have a few more notes from my research about Walt Disney specifically. So Uncle Walt, he was a smoker. He smoked cigarettes, but it's noted that he was discreet about his habit. So I don't know what discretion means to him at that time,
Huh.
but it does note here from historians that they said he did try to be more discreet about it when in public or around children. And so I'm curious about how true that is. I mean, there was the tobacco shop on Main Street in Disneyland. Um, but that could be nice if he was kind of aware about that. But I think
Yeah.
back then, I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't look into this, but I didn't know how much they knew about the
Yeah,
dangers
I
of
don't
it.
I don't even know when we found out about secondhand smoking
Yep. And
in
all the
general,
stuff on
you know?
the Surgeon General's warning on the
Yeah,
box.
yeah.
And in the US, it's pretty tame. Here in Mexico and other countries, they put pictures of like the the rotting lungs on the cigarette pack. It's part of the
On the pack?
it's right there. Like so you're getting that knowing exactly what's gonna happen.
That's wild.
Yeah. And people still smoke cigarettes. So there you go. Um, But yeah, they didn't have all that stuff back then, is what I can think of. So and then for photographs, there have definitely been instances where the cigarettes have been removed digitally through editing, and it has been more and more prevalent in recent years where Walt Disney Company is trying to clean up their image.
Mm.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I uh I think it's fine. I think Disney is trying always, or not, maybe not always, but for a long time has been trying to give out a good message. So if they don't agree with cigarettes, then maybe they should be removing it from the person that we all look up to as a
Yeah.
legend, you know? I don't think
Yeah.
it's so bad.
That's a tough one. I
It's
think
a
I'm
different time
torn.
too. It's hard, you know, like to that's always a conversation piece. Is like, oh, it was
Yeah.
different. So,
What I'm reading here talks about both of those things, those thoughts like negating each other. So one is it's important to respect, I guess, history and
mhm.
historical accuracy. And in this case, we're talking about a fun entertainment brand. Like we're not talking about a politician. So it's like respect that that's who he was. But then it also says another big important trend that companies are doing are reevaluating how those historical figures are presented today, which is what you said.
Right.
So it's, yeah, that's a tough one. And I think maybe it's okay with if there's context about it. When if he has a cigarette and it's maybe too hard to take out of an old home video movie, but I can see why, yeah, they're taking it out of things
It's
that are
just
just like
like,
publicly displayed.
yeah, similar to like the PC movement stuff. Like
Yeah,
now we
statues.
realize that this has been wrong. Let's fix it. Right. So
Yeah.
not too
Wow.
off of that.
Fascinating.
And he's like, you know, legendary. It's Walt Disney. So like maybe they don't want to give off a bad um image to people also. For sure that's part of it.
Yeah, yeah, it's got to be. Um, all right, so let's end this 420 episode with some galactic High Republic space Star Wars style 420 adjacent games.
All right.
And this is all over the place, just like it should be. So, did you know there is a strain of marijuana that Yoda grows in the swamps of Dagobah? And he uses it to meditate to reach the higher state of force sensitivity. What do you think that's called?
Yoda bomb.
Ooh, wait, that's better. I like that better. What Vicky told me, aka ChatGPT, was Dagobah Kush. And I would
Okay.
totally buy that strain if I saw that on the
Right.
menu.
Yeah. You're like,
um,
excuse me, I need to have this now.
right? I'm such a sucker for that. Anytime I see like Skywalker or something, whether it's weed or a wine or something, I'm like, oh, I gotta have it because it has it in there. Um, what Star Wars character is most likely going to be running a dispensary illegally on Tatooine, specializing in desert grown herbs?
I think it's going to be that one guy with the wings. What's his name?
Ooh, Watto?
Watto.
Wait, that's a good guess. That's a good
He
guess.
seems like he'd be the hustler, right? Like he'd have like a 7-Eleven. That guy would definitely have a 7-Eleven or a
I could see
dispensary.
him. So the answer, according to ChatGPT, is Jabba the Hutt because
Oh.
he does have that family of like crime people. But I think these things can go together. I feel like Watto would buy in bulk from Jabba and then mix it nasty, like make it less good, mix it with like or
Cut it
oregano or
with some
something.
weird, yeah.
Yeah, some weird tattooing leaves, and then resell it to the pod race community. There you go.
That's hilarious.
Uh,
He would cut it with what do they always call people? Is it rice something? They said it a lot in the movie Solo. Like their job was
oh, it's the same
spice
as
spice
yep,
runner. Is that
Spice
it?
Runner. Yep, which is the same exact thing as Dune. They call the
Oh,
commodity, which is weird. And Dune came first, and that really threw me off when they call it started calling that stuff spice in Dune. Anyways, squirrel, side squirrel. But yeah, it is like spice. Speaking of Han Solo, if he were to grow and cultivate his own rare strain of cannabis, what would that be called?
Ooh. Okay, could be something like Millennium, or could be, oh, what is it gonna be? Chewy? No, he wouldn't name it after. I don't know. I'm gonna say, oh my God, can we hold up? Can we just get some cannabis Wookie cookies though? Okay, and then
Ooh, that's fun.
I think I'm gonna stick with Millennium.
Millennium sounds good. That was one of the options here that Vicky suggested. She said Millennium Flight, I guess like the Falcon. But the answer that what Han Solo actually called it in our fictional galaxy here, Corellian Chronic, a nod to
Oh,
his home planet of Corellian.
cute.
Corellian Chronic. Another one I
Corellian
would buy
Chronic.
if I saw it. I'd be like, oh my God, that's so cool.
I wouldn't recognize that planet, so I'd be like, what?
Okay, name the planet and the planet residents species that are most ideal for being they're just stoners. They probably are very naturalistic. They have such a fun community that you could chill at. And there's probably weed growing all over that planet.
Okay, this is probably going to be, what's the planet? What's the planet? Wait, there's a few now I can think of. I am gonna go with, because I can remember the planet, and I can't remember the other one that I actually want to give the answer for. But I'm gonna go with Kashyyyk, and it's Wookiees.
Ooh, I do like that one. I could see that. And they have like beachy stuff there too.
Chewie just
But
kind of gives me that, like, he's just kind of cool, or whatever, yeah.
especially the one that walks around Batu. He's like real
Yeah, he's like
chill,
super cool and like
happy.
chill,
Everything makes
yeah.
him happy. They could probably do that there too, but the answer is Endor, home of the Ewoks.
I couldn't remember Endor. What is wrong with
Endor.
me?
Lightspeed to Endor.
I couldn't name it. I was like, what is the planet name? Oh my God.
And that sounds
That's what
like
I
a
was originally
fun
saying.
like
Dang it.
weed retreat, like a self-help, self-wellness retreat. Like go to Ewoks, hang out with them, get stoned for the week, be one with nature. I bet you they also have that other stuff that people do in the forest to find
Peyote.
themselves. No, there's another one. Peyote is one of them.
Oh,
What's
wait,
it?
I know what you're talking about.
And it like makes you barf.
Oh my God, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember it though.
Dude, Chattanooga, no.
No. Shoot.
Kombucha, no. I hate kombucha. It's gross. Do you like
Ah.
it?
Do you remember you told me to taste it and I got mad at you because there's alcohol in it?
Wait, there's no alcohol, or was it one that had alcohol in it?
Yeah, there's one that had
Oh,
alcohol.
whoops.
But it
Yeah, it's
tasted
like
like, all I could taste
vinegary.
was beer. I was like, this tastes
Ooh,
like beer smells. And I
ugh.
looked at the label, I'm like, there's freaking alcohol. But I think it's alcohol because it's fermented instead of like
Oh, it
just a
could be.
mix or something. But anyway,
I
it
could
had
see
alcohol
kombucha being
content nonetheless.
something they sell at Galaxy's Edge or something because it's like weird enough and it has
It's
organisms in
so
it.
gross. I don't know why people like it. No offense. No offense. I'm not judging. It's one of those things. Just can't.
Ayahuasca. That's the word. That's
There
the
it
drug.
is.
Yeah. I could see the people of Endor doing ayahuasca, the
That was
Ewoks.
weird. I already forgot what we were talking about, and you said it, and you with your arm in the air, and I'm like, yeah, ayahuasca. Like it was some like exclamation or something.
uh, oh, and especially that vibe that they had at the end of episode 6, Return of the Jedi, that whole party at the end on Endor. Like that seems like a
Hmm.
fun vibe.
Yeah, they definitely have some grow houses up in those tree houses,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Wait, we kind of did this one already. It says, what is Chewbacca's favorite method to consume his space cannabis? And it says he has a traditional Kashyyyk pipe,
Okay.
which goes with that. Yeah, I do see them now doing that. Silly,
Yeah,
silly,
they seem
silly.
like they're all hugging each other, and they're just all like cool. He's got a little swagger when he walks.
Got some swag. Okay, last but not least, which Star Wars droid would you always want to have around so that you can always get a light?
Aw, BB-8.
Beep, beep, boop, pew. Totally BB-8. Oh,
That's
it's a little lighter
hilarious.
right there. Spark it up. Oh gosh.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. BB-8, the stoner droid.
Just
No,
rolling
I
around.
would actually want Chopper around when,
Oh, you'll be fun. Entertaining for sure.
yeah, I want to get him high so he can calm down.
Oh, wait, that's a good one. I don't have the game is over, but I like this question that you bring up. Like, who needs to smoke in the Star
Yeah.
Wars galaxy?
Oh, so many people.
So much.
Kylo Ren
Oh
needs
my
to, oh
God,
my
Kylo
God,
Ren, chill out, dude.
chill
Relax.
out. Um,
You know who
does
might be a good functional stoner?
who?
Actually, Thrawn. He's so level.
Yeah, yeah.
He's doing the most horrible things, but he's just so chill about it. Before you realize he's like murdering your entire planet, you're just like listening to him intently.
I love
Yeah,
it. Functional. Love it.
functional stoner. Well, happy 420 to everybody. We had some fun with Disney and 420 today on this episode. We also took a road trip through Buc-ee's, the gas station and convenience store that has blown my mind. And then some fun things about Pride Night, and we'll let people know if we end up going to that. And I'm also going to be hitting up D23 Brazil later this year.
Crazy. Thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed episode 185 of the Disney Holics Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disney Holics.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, send us a DM on Instagram and or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.